Buonasera a tutti, good evening, and welcome to the Italian Radio Hour. Io sono Viviana, and I would like to welcome back our regular listeners and also welcome any new listeners. Also, be sure to like us on Instagram and Facebook at Italian Radio Hour and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch up on any past video interviews. Vorrei dare il benvenuto ai nostri ascoltatori da tutto il mondo, grazie per essere con noi anche oggi mentre continuiamo il nostro viaggio per l'Italia e la cultura italiana. So today's guest has spent the last 30 years doing something remarkable, making Italians around the world laugh at themselves. Whether you're in Sydney, Toronto, London, New York, or right here in Pittsburgh, somehow Joe Avati knows your father, your mother, your uncle, your nonna, and that one relative who still won't talk to the family because of something that happened in 1987. Born in Australia to Calabrian parents, Joe has become one of the most successful ethnic comedians in the world, selling out theaters across multiple continents while proving that Italians everywhere share the same stories. And recently, after decades of talking about Calabria on stage, he traveled there to retrace his family roots in an emotional journey that connected him to the village his family left behind. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Parli italiano? Do you want to learn, improve, or master your Italian? Istituto Mondo Italiano can help. Located in the heart of Regent Square, Mondo Italiano offers small group classes and one-on-one private tutoring in person or online to help you learn Italian in no time. Visit us online at istitutomondoitaliano.org. Joe, it's such a pleasure to have you back. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back, and very excited to be coming back to Pittsburgh because since the last time I was there, things seem to have flourished. Let's say that flourished with the Italians in Pittsburgh. It seems like there's a lot of people who've just found out about my show, which is great. And of course, there's all the people that came the first time, and hopefully I will see them again. But I am well. I'm in America, and I'm doing a lot of work here.
Everyone that was at the show will come back and bring the rest of the village, the rest of the family.
Yeah.
But
I even had people in Florida. I had people in Florida come to see me in Florida going, you know what? Have you ever been to Pittsburgh? You got to come to Pittsburgh. There's all these Calabrese. I said, oh, I've been to Pittsburgh. I know there's a Calabrese in Pittsburgh. I will be back in July. So there we go.
Yes. So talk about Calabria. So for 30 years, you have been telling stories about Italians leaving Calabria.
Yeah.
Well, you recently you became one of the stories and you went back yourself. So what did Calabria know about Joe Avati that Joe Avati didn't know about himself?
I think that I really didn't realize the depth of artisanal products there were in Calabria. Calabria really made me understand that, and it made me think, well, I should have understood that. I should have known that a little bit better. Sometimes people think, certain parts of Italy that people leave, they're not as built up as other parts of Italy. They're more remote, and you think that everybody's left because that's the thing in Calabria, especially. A lot of people leave, and it swells up in the summer when everyone returns home. And you think that everyone's taking their things with them. But I saw, the ceramic in Seminara, which was incredible. The stock in Mammola. Why is Bishop stock with the Mammola, renowned all over the world? And I started learning all these sort of things, and it made me more intrigued. Induja from Spillinga. Yeah, it was fantastic. I really loved it.
Wonderful. So obviously, I think the towns that your family might be originated from is Malicuca and
Yes.
Ciccone. So you visited family graves, you met relatives, you walked where your ancestors walked. So how many new cousins did you acquire on that trip?
A lot. It was really funny. When you see those, movies and the couples getting married and the whole village is walking behind them. That's what it felt like. When I went back to Riziconi and also Melakuka, and you know what? I learned some things too. So my great grandfather, I remember him, but he was really serious guy. You know how when you see the pictures of the nonni when they get married, nonna's like, nonna's all serious. So I said to there's a guy who said to me, I drove your great grandparents to the airport when they came to Australia. And I said, wow, what was my nonno like? Because I was very young when he passed away. My great grandfather, not my nonno. And I said he was very serious in Australia. He goes, nah, he was completely opposite. He was joking around, mucking around with everyone. He was the life of the party, and I never knew that. And it was so good to find out things about my grandfather. I also found out. See, my mum's mum came to Australia in 1949, and my mum's dad came in 1951. So I always thought that they met and married in Australia. I didn't know that they had already known each other back in the village, which was easy. But my nonna, when he found out that my nonna left, he saved up enough money and followed her because that was his woman. That was he wanted to marry her.
Um,
So he chased love. I didn't know that. They didn't talk
Well,
about these things.
that's
You know,
special. Yeah,
you know, nonna never talked about these things. Non si
yeah.
parlavano di queste cose, you
That's
know?
right. But your parents, your father actually talked about many times about walking 40 miles to school. Did things change once you got to the village?
Well, look, you know that I actually took him back, right? And I did a video with him. It's somewhere online on YouTube where I said, Papà, a casa non era. Dove era a casa? Qua. E la scuola? Qua. So we actually got into the car and we drove from his house to his school. And it was 800 meters. 800 meters. I come on, sono questi 40 chilometri. Where? You know? So we caught him out because, that's what they used to tell us at 40 chilometri. There's the rain, the
La
hail, the snake,
mattina
the
5.
spider. C'era un lupo che mi aspettava a mia, sulla mia, non volevo nessuno, sulla mia un lupo. I'm waiting for Little Red Riding Hood to come out from the mountains, in Calabria somewhere. And, and then you go to Italy and the school's right next to the house. And all these years he's been lying to me. But it was a
Yeah.
great experience.
Were there any other family myths that got crushed by reality when you got to Calabria, or the Italian guilt trip that Italian parents are very, they mastered that, right?
Yeah, they
Their
do. They do
parenting
master that.
years.
They don't want, my, my, I live in another city from my parents, and so my mum was flying down to Melbourne one day, and she knew that I was coming to pick her up, but I was late. It was traffic. I got caught in
Mhm.
traffic, so she got out early, and she rings me up. That's okay. All right, if you don't want to pick me up. I know if you I don't know if you love me anymore. That's just come on, mum. I'm
Mhm.
picking you up. Put the guilt trip on. That's what they love to do. You're right. They love to do that.
Yeah. And also, many children of immigrant parents, for instance, they become at the age of 5 or 6 professional translators, right, for their parents and their grandparents. So, do you think that indeed that many immigrant kids become adults before they become children? Did that
Well,
happen to you?
yeah, you see, I was named after my nonno, okay? There was a lot of us cousins. I was the only one named Giuseppe Avati like him. So he used to take me everywhere and I had to see and I'm not just talking about interpreting, say when you go to the supermarket. I'm talking about serious things like going to the doctors. I'm 9, got to translate. Now, this is where we learn to think quick off our feet, Viana. This is where we learn to lie because you knew the answers. Like the doctor would say to me, can you ask your nonno, does he drink much during the week? I'm like, nonno, tu bevi? Ma, niente, and then he'd say, 2 or 3 bottiglie. And I'm thinking, I can't tell the doctor 2 or 3 bottles because he's going to send my nonno to rehab. Can you imagine an Italian nonno in Alcoholics Anonymous? Can you imagine, when they all sort of sit around talking to each other and they got to introduce themselves? And my nonno will be like, hello, I'm a Giuseppe and I've been drinking since I was 6. You know what I mean? Now I make my own vino. Maybe next week I bring some just to try for everybody. And they're all freaking out, Alcoholics Anonymous. It was all that kind of stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
and you learn because the doctor said his cholesterol was too high. And I'm turned around and I go, how do you say cholesterol in Italian? Or colesterolo?
Hmm.
I don't know. And I had to try and learn the words. to try and interpret to nonno. No, and you know what? Another funny one is the diabetes. The way Italians call diabetes, utsukuru.
Zucchero.
You know, just give it something. Just give it a name for something you're not supposed to have when you have it to confuse nonna. Foco me un dao zucchero a una caramella, figlio. You know what I mean? It's like it's so funny.
Yeah, so you say that his cholesterol was high. Did your weight change because after a trip to Italy, you visit bakeries, you made bread, you
Oh,
made cheese,
yeah.
you ate your way through Calabria.
Yeah, I did. I did. But it's amazing how everyone stays thin in Italy. And I think the reason is there's two reasons. Number one, they don't eat too much. Like they eat, but they don't eat too much. But I think the real secret is that they go for a passeggiata after dinner. They all
Mm,
go for that walk to the piazza, arm in arm, and I think that's a very, very important thing because you know what a lot of people do when they move to all these other countries, they eat, and where do you
mm,
see dad? Straight onto the couch, to the vano, che dormi, snoring within
mm,
10 minutes. That's not good for digestion. Not good for
mm.
digestion at all.
Yeah. So let's talk about your debut on the Italian stages.
Yeah.
Which language did you keep the trifecta of Calabrian, English, Australian English, and some Italian? And how did you have to tweak your show?
No, so this was very interesting. So the first time I did it, it wasn't in Italy, it was in Belgium. And I
Hmm.
thought, what do I do? Do I do it in Flemish? Is it French? How do I? And I just did my show the way I normally do it. And I had no idea that they really understood English that well. And so then when I went to Calabria and I went to Rome and Milan and did the shows there, um, okay, the rule is this: unless no one really gets dragged along to the show, it may be maybe a boyfriend or a family friend or someone, but the majority of the people who come to the show, the people who buy a ticket know exactly what you're doing. They've already seen you, so if they've already seen you, it means they understand what you do, and
Hmm.
so they're going to know. So you don't really have to change the show too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably what I do is I go a little bit more Italian when I do
Yeah.
shows in Italy, of course.
Hmm.
And the people that come to the shows in Italy, because a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, is it going to work there? They're going to understand." Yes, they do.
Oh,
They
yes.
understand. Yeah, because a lot of people do speak English. Especially the young people in the south, they speak English, and up north, a lot of people speak English these days, and they understand it. And I've got to go to Germany, I've got to go to Belgium, I've got to go to Switzerland to do shows. I've had requests from Malta, Cyprus, all over. So
Hmm.
that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Mm.
So is it true that actually you didn't want to be a comedian, you wanted to be a rock star back
Yeah,
in the
you've
day?
done your research, haven't you? You've really done your research. I wanted to be George Michael, and
Oh,
if you hear my voice, you'll understand why that never happened. Yeah, yeah.
what did your father think about how many rock stars are in
No,
Calabria?
there's no rock stars in Calabria. Go get another job. There's no rock stars in Calabria. So I
Um,
went and I did my honors in food science at university, and I was developing and designing ice creams for a long time. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm going to give comedy a go. That's my chance. Now I've made my dad happy. I've got a degree. Now let me try and do this, and it worked. And
yeah.
I guess I become a rock star of comedy, I suppose. Well, I have to, in my opinion, I have for me.
And
Yeah.
at what point do you think that your father realized that comedy wasn't just a phase?
Well, I think when the first time we went to Canada in 2001, and when we got there, we got greeted by people at the airport. Wherever we'd go, people would turn up. The media was following us everywhere, and the huge crowds. In the first time I did Canada, Toronto, I sold 18,000 tickets in
Hmm.
in in 3 weeks. It was incredible. It was insane. It was so big, and so I think my dad realized then. And then the following year, I brought my nonni too. So
Yeah, that was a great sign.
yeah, yeah, it was so good.
Feeling
So
pride.
they all came and we went and did a signing, and my nonna, of course, She couldn't write. She was alphabeta, what they call alphabeta. She couldn't even sign her name. So we did a signing, and we rock up in a limousine. There's 500 people outside of a record shop, um, uh, and she's like, tutti sti genti. Who are they for? I said, they're there for you, nonna. And no, mia. Because you got to understand, my nonna never went. My nonna was born in Calabria. She didn't go anywhere in Italy. She never went to Rome. She never went to Florence. She never saw Venice. She didn't go to the Amalfi Coast. She was born in Calabria, stayed in Calabria, went from Calabria to Sydney, Australia. And the only other places she went out of into the world was Toronto. And then for her to travel to the other side of the world to see her grandson in front of 2 or 3 thousand people a night was a big deal. It's a big deal for them.
Yeah, I think it was probably a sense of pride of seeing, your success, but
Yeah.
also a sense of pride at the fact that you're still keeping Calabria alive with
Yes.
one joke at a time.
One joke at a time. Yeah.
So,
Do you love Italian food? Want to learn the secrets of homemade pasta, sauces, and traditional recipes, just like Nonna used to make? At Mondo Italiano, our authentic Italian cooking classes bring the taste of Italy right to Pittsburgh. From fresh pasta to regional specialties, every class is a delicious journey through Italy's culinary traditions. Spots fill quickly, so reserve your seat today. Call us at 412-478-2681 or find us online. Mondo Italiano, where Italy comes alive one dish at a time.
un caffè per favore. For more than 35 years, Pittsburgh has started its mornings with La Prima Espresso. From freshly roasted beans from around the world to the perfect espresso or cappuccino, every cup is crafted with care. Stop by and enjoy the warmth of our baristas and familiar faces, or bring the taste of Italy home. Order online today at laprima.com. La Prima Espresso, Pittsburgh's coffee. So we talked about your father. We talked about your grandparents. So we're going to talk a little bit about the secret behind your mother's identity in your
Yeah.
jokes. Can we
Yeah.
reveal that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You see, so the mum in my, geez, how do you know all this? How do you know this? Jeez.
I've been watching you. I've been keeping my eyes on you.
Yeah. It's called stalking, Viviana,
Hey, this well. Not
um,
kidding.
yeah, yes, okay, so the mother in my show is not my mum. The mother in my show is my dad's sister.
Mhm.
So, because we grew up with my cousins and my dad's here, they're all very, very close. Because my mum was born in Australia, so she doesn't have an accent. And then when people come to the show and they see and they meet her at the end of the show, they're like, hang on a minute, she doesn't even have an accent, you know? And so yeah, that's the little secret. But
Yeah,
it
well,
all
you
works.
talked about it, so it's not that I'm revealing
Yeah,
anything that you haven't
yeah,
talked about.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
was wondering if any, so at one point did you realize that ants were the most underrated source of comedy?
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. So anyway.
Did any of the ant or the ants ever say, Joe, those jokes are a little more true, a little
Nah, you know
too
what? They've all been
truthful?
pretty good. They actually contribute. They'll go, oh, you forgot about this. Did you remember this story? What about this? Do you remember when we did this? So they actually contribute to it. They actually
Mhm,
like it. They contribute to it. I mean, we're a very close knit family, and so for them to see us, doing well, the nieces and nephews, it's a good thing for them.
absolutely.
Mm.
So you're going to be back here in Pittsburgh. Let me
Yes,
also pull out some information so that we want to make sure that everyone secures their tickets at the Kelly Straight Horn Theater on
yes,
July the 26th. It's a Sunday.
yes.
And so, what Pittsburgh traditions have you been exposed to? Have you heard about the wedding cookie table? You
No,
guys
not the wedding
haven't.
cookie table, but I've bet the towel, the blue towel. I think this is
Okay,
a.
the so yeah, this Pittsburgh wedding cookie table is it's a little bit of a show in a way that at the weddings there would be back in the day perhaps a table or two. Now it might be like 10 tables filled
Hmm.
with cookies, and all the relatives they all get together to to bake, so that you bake for my wedding, you bake for.
Ah, right, okay.
So you never been exposed to it.
I've
We get
never been exposed to that, no.
then you gotta eat all the cookies, and then there's
Yeah.
the to-go containers. So now once. What else about some other Italian American traditions to see if the Australians do have something equivalent?
Well,
The
the big deal, the big
Mhm.
one is that the the gravy. We don't call it gravy. Why do they call it gravy?
The so well, it really
Yeah,
depends on where that is. There is a huge debate, but that's very regional and state related. Like I would always call it sauce because for me, the gravy is that brown sauce that you put on meat. It
that's
is
right.
not the red sauce. So is it
Mm.
sauce back in on your end of the
Yeah,
world?
no. It's well, we were having this debate. I did this podcast recently, and we were having a debate. And I said, listen, it's quite simple. In Italy, do they call it gravy? No, that's called assazza. That's it,
Uh,
and basta. You know what I mean? And there's,
mhm.
there's no debate. There's no, we know nowhere else in the world do they call it gravy. Nowhere. Not in England, not in Canada, not in Australia, and certainly not in Italy. So I'm not sure where that came from. The other funny thing about the Italian Americans is they always cut the word short. Instead of gabagol, it's gabagool, mozzarella, prosciutto. Just say the whole word. How hard is it? Prosciutto, please. Yeah.
So, well, talking about food traditions, what's all about I don't know, Australian barbies, the
Oh, barbecue.
barbecues?
Yeah.
Yes, tell
Barbecue,
us a
yeah.
little bit what we're missing on this side of the world.
What is it? Sorry, it's
Yeah, yeah, it's like obviously you're not eating kangaroos at a Barbie. So
no.
what is
I tried
again? It's
kangaroo
like
meat once. It wasn't for me. It was very. It's very tough. You got to know how to cook it properly. There's a lot of protein, so it's good for if you're working out. But I don't know. Look at my shirt. I don't know.
oh
Bo,
yeah, a boo, yeah, yeah.
bo, bo.
So
So
how
this
long?
time we're bringing the boar shirts. I don't think we had the boar shirts last time. I'm not sure.
No.
No.
Mhm.
So this time, yeah, we're bringing that. We're bringing my new book. I've got a new children's book out,
Okay.
and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I got a bit of new material as well. It's really hard to know. Like, so what happens is when I come on stage, I ask the audience who's been here before. The majority of people are all new. Like 60, 70% have never seen the show. Because as I said, since the last time I was there, a lot of people have discovered, and that only, when they say you coming to Pittsburgh, I said, yeah, I'm coming in July. Did you come last time? Last time I didn't even know you were here. So it's fantastic. So the show's heading for a sellout. It's already
Mhm.
sold over 60% of the room, so it's
Yeah.
fantastic. And looking forward to it. Last time I had that great time, and I love that little strip that where all the Italian cafes are. That's really good too. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of our little jewel for anyone looking for the Italian experience. So, just one more question because I know that you're super super busy.
Yeah,
So after 30 years of sold out shows around the world, millions of views online, how do you regenerate? How do you get new energy in such a high-paced life, and energy that you translate then back on stage, so that we get all that excitement, you know.
yeah. Okay. Look, I spend a lot of time on my own on tour, and so I tend to the first thing I wake up in the morning and I do my exercise, or I do a lot of walking. I do hot and cold therapy. Cold plunges, saunas. That starts a process called autophagy, which is a renewal of your inner cells.
Mhm.
So I don't really document it online. I don't really go around, hey, here's me again in a sauna, because then people think, how much time does this guy spend in a sauna? And so I'll do it every day if I can. And I eat once a week, once a day. I try and not stuff myself too much. I'll eat in the afternoon. I have to have a nap now. I have what they call a nonu nap. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of times people are like, what do you do before a show? Well, I definitely not doing my hair, that's for sure. And secondly, I have a little nap. I'm napping. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I have a little power nap and away I go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. So anything else that you would like to add? to our fans anywhere in the world, and then
Yeah,
any
well,
other.
I want to thank everyone for coming on this journey. Not only, I mean, in Pittsburgh, I've been there already, 3 years ago, but I am very excited that I'm coming back, and I thank people for coming to the shows this time. But not only that, but for coming on this journey for the last 30 years. I wouldn't be here selling out shows all over the world if I didn't have a loyal and strong fan base who keep on coming back, who keep on sharing my material online, and more importantly, who bring the kids. And that's a point that I want to bring up is you can bring your kids to this show. There's no swearing, there's no vulgarities. It's good, clean family fun without it being
Mhm.
daggy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I lied. I said it was going to be the last question, but you just made a very good point. In addition to bringing the kids, what would you say to someone who has been putting off that trip for 20 or 30 years about reconnecting with their roots? How important was that for you?
Oh, yeah, very good. Look, the Italian government got me to do a promotion for Calabria, the region of Calabria, because
Hmm.
they know that obviously I've got a big following around the world. But they specifically were targeting my American audience because they
Hmm.
said a lot of the American, or not everybody, but a majority of them, they go to Italy, but they don't go to where their towns are. They'll go to Florence, they'll go to Rome, Venice, Amalfi Coast. They'll do all the touristy things. But you ask a lot of them where are they from? They don't know.
Hmm.
That's a picture of me in Seminara at the
The ceramics place.
ceramics place. Yeah,
Mhm.
yep. And that photo actually made a front cover of a magazine somewhere in Italy. So it was
Italia,
really interesting.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and I might have one. You tell me which public office that was because it has the Calabrian flag behind it. Did you meet with the mayor or some other?
I did meet with Occhiuto, Mayor Occhiuto. I think his name's Roberto Occhiuto. So it was so funny because we get there and the Italia people said you need to bring a suit. Bring a suit and a tie because we're going to meet the mayor. Okay. So the only time that I needed to wear a suit was that day. So I rock up to the mayor, the I think it was in Cosenza, and I can't remember if it was Cosenza or Catanzaro. And we went to the mayor's office, and he's
Mhm.
there. We look at him. Look, he's me in a suit, and look at
Mhm.
him. Manco una
Mhm.
gravata si mesi.
What would
He's
you
in
prefer to
jeans.
say?
He's in
Discreet.
jeans and a camicia. Tutto bello relax. Look at him. Tutto bello tranquillo.
Maybe they thought you were the mayor after this picture.
Yeah, I should be the mayor of Calabria.
Do you have any trips coming up?
No, my wife and I we're building our new house, and so
Mhm.
we're all focused on that. So no trips. I've got to do. I will go to Italy next year because I'm touring England, Wales, and Scotland, Belgium, Germany, and Switzerland. So in between the shows, I will go to Italy, uh, and I'm not sure if I'll get down to Calabria next year because it's a quick trip. But until we finish our house, we're not planning a trip to Italy for a holiday
Mhm.
because we're just focused on that.
Yeah, wonderful. So in bocca al lupo per tutto. I can't wait to
Grazie.
see you for more
And
jokes and more.
yeah,
Yes,
my
go ahead.
my wife and my son are meeting me now, and
Yeah.
they're coming to Pittsburgh. So
Okay.
if you come to the show, you'll see my son gets out there on the merchandise stand. He helps sell. My wife is there as well, so you get to meet the family.
Yeah, and I will volunteer for any chaperone tours of the city that they might enjoy.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you in a little over a month, okay?
Thank you very much. Grazie,
Ciao,
Viviana.
ciao,
Thank you. Ciao,
ciao.
everyone. Bye.
And so our conversation is up for today. Big Ben ha detto stop. It's time for us to say arrivederci e alla prossima. We want to thank you for tuning in into the program. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any topics you would like us to address, please contact us at the Italian Radio Hour at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And remember, if you or any of your family and friends have missed a prior episode or would like to listen to this episode again, subscribe to the Italian Radio Hour on YouTube or where you catch your favorite podcasts. And also don't forget to share because sharing is caring. So I would like to thank my guest again, Joe Avati. Looking forward to having him back in Pittsburgh. Our sponsors, Istituto Mondo Italiano and La Prima Espresso. Until next time, alla prossima. Ciao, ciao.